Yo, what's up guys? Siege videos. Finally, I can show my Siege stuff. Of course, before I couldn't really showcase any of my Siege stuff because we are still in the tournament. It's best to not show anything to your enemies and that kind of stuff. But for that reason, we can finally show the Siege stuff right now. However, I'm going to hide a few matches and I'm going to not show any runes because I just didn't record any of the runes and I was switching all of the runes all the time, so I have no clue what was on the units at that moment. Also, I will be doing this in 3 separate videos. So first the match of today and then the other 2 matches. I also don't really want to spoil anything for the people that are maybe not on the EU server or not have seen like anything that's going on. So I want to take you through like the process of each individual match, what I played, how it progressed, external factors, all of that kind of stuff. I will talk about the individual matches at that time rather than now talking about everything, jumping back and forth. So this video, we're going to focus on the match that we had against Origin, which was an insane close match. I thought I had the end result like recorded where you have like the whole time lapse. I do have for Cardiac Unity. I don't have it for the final match, but yeah, I thought I had that, but it was like super close. It was like 2,000 against 19,800 something. It was insane. So this was my very first match. I was like, okay, I am pretty confident in my Dova to outspeed. This Dova is of course on the runes that I normally use on my Kabila in Arena offense. And I outspeed all kinds of Tritons on 33 leads while I'm 24 lead with Neftis. Keep that in mind. The Kali moves first. I'm like, fuck? But all 3 of them are willed. What? And then his Fae moves after? All 3 units move before my unit that's on the Kabila set that outspeeds Tritons on 33 lead with me at 24. The man, insane. I was literally like, I was asking a guild, is my Dova ruined? Because I was unsure. This man has some insane runes, like Origin and other people know who this guy is. Don't want to spoil that, but that's insane, man. Your rune quality is gangster. Let me tell you that much. But that was a very bad start for me of the tournament. Because, yeah, this is a loss. So then there's only one way to recover. And this is my overall go-to team. And the go-to team is just very simple. We go in with the Robo. We go in with the Neftis. We go in with the Alaya. And everything just fucking dies. This is legit one of the best offenses in the game, I would say. Like, to be honest, let me know in the comments what you think is like maybe a better offense, like a cleave offense you can use against a lot of stuff. That is something like this. Could be LD heavy or anything, but I arguably think that the Robo one, you could arguably say like, okay, a Tiana version might be better, but I noticed that you often then kind of lack like a little bit of damage, which gives them a chance to start proccing through the silence and that kind of stuff, and therefore I kind of like the Robo more. Sure, it's a little bit more RNG focused because the Robo could also fully miss trips. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think is like the strongest offense in the game right now. So yeah, this is one of those fights where Feng Yang is still insanely good. I currently have like 3-4 Feng Yangs. I've pulled a few more. Feng Yang is just one of those units that if you have a good one rune with a lot of damage, it just does so much work. Plus, we have the Seimei, which is also one of those typical units. If you place it in the right team at the right moment, it's a cheat code against everything that brings a lot of dots or debuffs or anything like that. Well, Kiki is one of those. And the only counter she kind of has is heal block, but heal block is not really that much provided or at all provided by Kiki, if I'm not mistaken. So it does pretty hard counter Kiki as well. And then the moment you kill Kiki, in my case, I think it's not a possibility for any Kinky to actually solo my Feng Yang, because this Feng Yang is on some pretty... Normally it's on a better build with Leo, because then I just have 0 speed on it. In this case I had to put some speed on it, but still, I would say Feng Yangs don't need that much speed. They just do a lot of damage. Like 2.5Ks, no critters, wrong element. Kind of adds up. And no death buff. But it just adds up. So that kind of damage is always the Gucci. But yeah, one of those fights, it's always one of those fights that take a little bit longer. But they're just super safe. And actually within the whole tournament, I would say, I did a lot of these kind of fights or just insta cleavers. And I actually did a lot more cleaves than I normally do. Like normally I'm not that much cleaving because cleaving means reruning. And for this tournament, I played very try hard. I also did a lot of like management stuff with like prepping for like the defenses, helping people with their offenses, ruining that, coaching them through the hit, that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, normally I was always saying like, yo, I'm not that much into Siege, but this tournament I was very much into Siege. So then the next fight. This is one of those things that my guildies always say, I don't know how those wins, but let me start again from the start just to show you what this was. So we start off with an S2. My whole team is max accuracy, by the way, because this monkey has a 55 accuracy lead or whatever it is, but it is max accuracy. We got triple resistance. Okay, that's annoying, so I can't really do S3. I could have maybe still done S3, would have maybe been the better case, but yeah. And okay, we stripped one thing, but another resistance. Okay, so since I have immunity, I don't really care. I want to push back, double resistance. That's a fuckery fight. wait, calm. So it goes for a counter stun. I'm like, okay, I can still win this. Easy, I can still win this. That's not a problem. Stun everything, okay? This is why you really would like to have S3 rather than the S2, but yeah, that kind of got fuckeried already. So we're still looking kind of fine. We're stunning that. It's proccing out once again, countering, stunning. Like the counter stuns were heavy. Like it was just the resistance early on. But in this case, I wanted to go for an S2. I know it counters, but if it didn't counter, I would have had other issues. So if I push back here once again, max accuracy, I would have had a lot better chance, but I didn't push back, which is very bad. I did have the stun here. This might have been the moment where I would have said, okay, I should have saved S3 and started hitting on the Kinky rather than the thing on the left, but I felt like the thing on the left was pretty long on its cooldowns as well. Goes for a procker, goes for a kill. That's a pretty high damage Kinky. I was like, okay, I can still kind of win, but I need some stunners right now. The Iris actually does do a lot of damage, but it's not enough damage to where you actually get through anything. The passive, and then this thing goes for a few extra turns. So let's say I did 3 hits so far. 4 hits so far, and I already lost 2 in the tournament. I'm like, I'm playing shit. So I gotta recover. That was like, I was annoyed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was annoyed. So this team, enemy team, doesn't really provide any much of strips. So I was like, okay, just outspeed it and then you one-shot it or something. I'm like, this was to the point I was like, are these things runes or do I do that much damage? Oh, well, they were ruined, but yeah, this shit did do a lot of damage. So that was a pretty nice offense, actually. And then we have one of those slower offenses. Camilla is kind of the cheat code in the whole RTA, or in not the whole RTA, the whole Siege thing at the moment, because Camilla pretty much cannot die. Like, if you pair it with the right units, she doesn't die. You have the potential to give the slow plus stun every 2 turns because of her buff that she had recently. So with that, you skill her up, she just does her cycling all the time. Things barely take any turn. Like, this thing is about to take a turn right now. If I was a little bit fast, I could have denied another turn from him. That's the thing, like, Camilla with that S2, man, it's so many freezes. You're denying so much damage potential they have on you. She has the healing on herself, healing on the other thing. She has the cleanses. She's like a real powerhouse of a unit right now in all of Siege. Like, pretty much every Camilla you have should be your free win, like, not gonna lie. It's gonna take long. Like, sure, it's gonna take long, but any Camilla you have should be your free wins. That's on it. Like, the amount of, if you have 10 Camillas, you have 10 free wins. That's literally how OP she is right now. Because they put that cooldown increase thing, they made that 3-turn cooldown into 2-turn cooldown with what their latest buff. And it just makes it that you can freeze and that kind of shit so often. And with those freezes, you barely get any damage, you don't die. Like, okay, if you miss all of your freezes, like, sure, she can still pretty good survive, like, no worries about that. It's just a lot more risky. If she gets those freezes, those slows, especially if you're fighting units dealing damage from speed, if you get those slows in all the time, it's nasty. They don't do jack shit damage on you. But yeah, they're fighting a Camilla with a Camilla. We have seen a few Camillas on defense. Like, by all means, I think she's one of the best, if not the best, elemental unit for offense. I don't think she's great on defense. On defense, she's too stationary, no RNG. And that's the thing with defense. You need the RNG, you need the weird shit. Otherwise, your defense doesn't work. Then we have another hit, and same team hitting the same team. And this is more of a cleaving style, where you want to have enough buffs on the Bethany that the Bethany always goes for the S3, which is a... or well, it doesn't always go for the S3, but double ignores on the S3. And then you have the two elements on the opposing side hitting you. That is most definitely not the Bethany, except for the AoE though. But yeah, there's absolutely no chance for them to strip or anything, and then it's just a pretty nice cleanup. So that's and Miang actually does do quite a bunch of good damage with attack buff, speed buff, because there's just speed scaling. Next fight, I can't go without it, right? Some people still say it's somewhat tricky. I would somewhat agree if you miss all armor breaks. But if you miss all armor breaks, you still have the option for Grogan to go for skill 2 and potentially AoE stun. But in this case, it was just like I had to wait until they just wanted me to go in and then take the tower at the right moment. So it didn't take that long, but that's where my hesitation comes in for going a third skill. Pretty much killing everything. That was a very tanky Kraka, but that still dies. Whole team dies, she can't revive. Next fight was one of those longer drawn out fights with like a Malite. Pretty common unit as well, especially against like Leo Mace and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's just a pretty common unit to use out there. Also, a very nice thing is to drop those heal blocks. Didn't work in this case. Maybe I should put a little bit more accuracy on the Kamun. If you drop the heal blocks on the Fuki just starts killing himself more or less. And apparently this was a 100 res one, or I was just not landing my shit whatsoever. But that is a very nice thing to kill Fukis out. Like, it just starts killing himself. He's not life draining. He's not getting any recovery. He definitely does want to kill my shit over here, which is... Oh, wait, this was not my clip. Wait, I'm looking at a clip that was not mine. This one was from Swifty. The thing is, I recorded this clip. I'm talking about like this is my fight. I'm like, no, this was not my fight. This was actually the most interesting fight we had the whole tournament. Like all of us in chat were just shouting for a heal block. Like the thing is, the clip isn't complete. Like the clip isn't fully full. The clip doesn't like it doesn't completely show what's going on because this fight is won. And the fight is just won on landing those heal blocks from a Kamun that doesn't do any damage. We were shouting for heal blocks on the Vigor for like, I don't know how long, man. It was... At some point he managed, like, look at the damage he was dealing. And they couldn't kill each other both sides. But this was... A good thing his Kamun was on fire. But, man, this... I think he was in this fight for like 15 minutes. And I could only record like 4 minutes of it or some shit. But this fight went on. That's why you don't want to leave. Like, especially in tournament, you do not want to leave. Like, it recorded only till there. Like, at some point, it's the maximum amount of turns it goes for. And then it just ends. Like, I didn't end it by myself. But that's just stupid, man. But this fight, like, at some point, it took like 2, 3, 4 more minutes to kill the Leo May. And then it took another like 10 minutes to kill the figure. That fight was so stupid. Whatever, all the time. You block. Use recovery. Yeah, you block. It's just also funny, like all of these tournaments, you're with everyone in the Discord call. It's like somewhat chaotic. You try to make like the first siege we did was super chaotic. Afterwards, we organized it better and better. But it's just also a fun experience to sit there with everyone in Discord and that kind of stuff. Oh, wait, speeding through the next rounds. Keep it calm. We have the Dark Cassandra, which is also, in a sense, I would say, a free winner. I was to a certain extent like, okay, I have to do a lot of damage on this Shazam, because a lot of these Shazams were very tanky. So I threw the maximum amount of damage I could throw on it, 75k on a Cassandra. For the people that own Cassandra, they can tell you that's insanely high. That's actually a very high hit. And now we have the Theomars, and Theomars could potentially 1v3 this if it's proc 6 times after his first hit. Didn't happen in this case, so that is a good for me, and then Theomars dies. And then the final hit for me, which was my Wang Yang Leo Alaya, which I still like to use a lot. It's one of those hits that goes a little bit slower. It kind of reminds me of back in the days where I did a lot of hits with Tractor Windy Lulu. This is kind of the net 5 variant of it. I have this whole team like 3 times by now? 2 times? 3 times. So yeah, this is something that's just pretty much always used. Very solid thing. But sometimes it just doesn't really fit the meta where you can actually use it. But if you can use it, this is definitely used for me. You just have to be careful with, well, getting death broken and getting killed and shit. And in this case, does my Leo die? I think my Leo does die. Can we see? In this case, you rather want an S1 than S3, actually. Well, I knew that I was moving before, so that was a smart play because I knew I was moving before. But if I wasn't moving before, I should have used the S1 because S3 technically doesn't do any recovery. It only does recovery when you get the turn. So yeah, that was my siege for the first round against Origin. I played 8 and 2, which is not that great. I expect it to be better. However, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, we will have the following 2 matches. So definitely hope you enjoyed this video, and I will take you through the journey of Doubt, going all the way to the finals, and those will be in the videos of tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So if you haven't yet, like this video and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one.